Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So we are getting ready for our next upcoming holiday, Valentine's Day. And since it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for our soaps to cure, I'm going to go on ahead and start on getting my Valentine's soaps done. So this time I am making, this is a scent that I've made before. It's called Love Letter. It's kind of worn off because I've used this already. So I'm going to make this. This is a really nice scent for Valentine's Day. I am using this rose-colored pigment, and that is from Brambleberry. It's called Rose Clay. It's a really nice color. Not too bright, not too light. I'm also going to be using titanium dioxide from Brambleberry. This is great for getting your soaps a little bit lighter, whitened up a little bit more. Sometimes your fragrance oils can make the soaps get a little bit darker, so this will lighten that. So all of my stuff I generally use is from Brambleberry. I'm also using sodium hydroxide. This happens to be from Nature's Garden, not Brambleberry. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I already have our goat milk cubes measured out. We have 11 ounces of goat milk cubes to 4.7 ounces of sodium hydroxide. So I had one of our followers to ask how we make our goat milk soap and could they have a recipe. So I'm mainly doing this video for anybody who wants to start making cold processed soaps. And this will be giving you the totals that you need for making soap and exactly how to do it. So I'm going to do it step by step today with explicit details on how to go through and make your soap. So we have 11 ounces of goat milk cubes, and we have 4.7 ounces of sodium hydroxide. So I'm going to start pouring this in to my goat milk cubes and start mixing it around. Now, you have to do this slowly or you will burn your milk as it starts to melt. You also, when you're making soaps and you're dealing with sodium hydroxide, you want to make sure that you're wearing long sleeves, gloves, and some sort of eye protection. Sodium hydroxide is very caustic. It will burn you if it gets on you. If you do get some on your skin, immediately flush it with water. If it's a lot, flush it with water and you need to contact your health provider. If it gets in your eye, because you're not wearing protective glasses, then you need to immediately contact a healthcare provider, because it's never happened to me because I've always worn my goggles, but it can do some pretty bad damage to your eyes. So this part takes a little bit longer. This is probably the longest part of making soap, is getting the goat milk cubes to melt down. Once that happens, then it's very quick. Okay, we are just about done here. We got all of our sodium hydroxide out. I have a couple little milk cubes that have not, there's one right there, that have not completely dissolved. So we're going to stir until all of those are gone. And then we're going to get a temperature. Okay, we've got all of the goat milk cubes have melted. I don't see anything left in there. It's all nice and creamy looking, nice and melted. So let's get a quick temperature on this. Okay, it's at 82.9. So we are going to stir for about 1 more minute. What you want in your mixture when you're making a cold process soap, you do not want your temperature to rise any higher than 89 before you add the oils. If it does, it will scald your milk. So you want to keep an eye on that. If it gets to 88 and it looks like it's going to continue to go up, you need to get a cold sink of water drawn, and you need to put your bowl down in the cold water to try and cool it down quickly. It can cause a great discoloration in your soaps, but it's never happened to me. I've always kept mine. I think one time we were using the hydroxide, sodium hydroxide from Amazon. It got up close to being 90. It was like our first time of making soap, but it didn't hit 90, but we had it in a thing of cold water just to make sure, but it never did go above 88. And then it started cooling down. But since then, I have never had a problem with it getting that high anymore. So what we are looking for is, right now it is saying that it's 82.5. So we want this to start counting downwards like it's cooling off. So 82.4, it's teeter-tottering between 82.4 and 82.5, which tells me it's stabilized. So it's not going to go any higher than that. So we're going to continue to stir for about 30 more seconds, and then we're going to take a temperature every 30 seconds until it starts cooling off and the temperature starts going backwards and cooling off. All right, let's see what we're at. So 82.4, 82.2, 82. All right, so it's definitely starting to cool down now. So I'm going to stir it for about 30 more seconds, and then I'm going to add my oils. Okay, Taylor heated up my oils for me, and I get my oils pre-mixed from Brambleberry. So she has heated all this up in the microwave. We're going to give it a quick shake, and I'm going to put on the screen what oils I use in this mixture so that you'll know what oils I use. Okay, and then we're going to dump this into our mixture. Now I'm going to, before I dump it all in, remember I have my titanium dioxide over here, and I'm using a teaspoon of titanium dioxide. Push you down some. A teaspoon of titanium dioxide, and you want to add a tablespoon of your oil. Got my measuring spoons here. So we're going to measure out a tablespoon. Pour carefully because it'll come out very quickly. A tablespoon of oil. We're going to dump that in there. Okay, and then we're going to pour the remaining oil in my bowl. Make sure we get it all out of there. Okay. Now this is trash. Put that back here. Okay, so quickly before I start doing this, I am going to take my smaller spatula and I'm going to mix up this titanium dioxide. This will get mixed with my hand blender, my stick blender, but I want to give it a good mix in the meantime to make sure that there's none stuck to the container and that it's all mixed in with the oil. Okay, that looks good. All right, so we're going to set this aside and I'm going to focus back on this now. Okay, so now I've got my oils that are mixed in with my goat milk and sodium hydroxide mixture. I'm going to give it a quick stir here and mix everything in good. Okay, I'm going to give it a quick mix before I add the scent. I'm not going to add the scent quite yet. All right, I'm going to get the air bubbles out. I'm going to give this a quick mix. Okay, we don't want to mix it too much because I don't want it to go to trace. Now you may ask, what does trace mean? So trace means when you get your mixture too thick, you want to keep it at a thin level. So I'm going to pour some in here for my rose color. It's about even. And then I'm going to dump my titanium dioxide mixture in here. Okay, I think I got it all in there. Mix that up a little bit here. I can already tell it's getting a little bit lighter, which is good. That's what I want. All right, now I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to focus on this. I want to get this mixed in pretty good before I put the hand mixer with it. So I'm going to do a drop pot swirl. I did this on my last soap that I made, my rosemary eucalyptus soap, and it turned out really pretty. Like, it's my favorite thing to do now, I think. It's my favorite way to do soaps. All right, I think all of this is not stuck to the sides. I'm going to put my stick blender in there and get it mixed up good. But first I'm going to mix up this one because I want to go from light to dark. Oh, okay, before I go any further, let's add our scent. So I've used this before, so I use about an ounce to a little bit over an ounce of scent. So I'm going to divide this up between the two. Now let's mix it up. Okay, we're going to stop there on that one because he's starting to get a little bit thick. Okay, we're going to put this in here now. Okay, we're getting kind of thick, so we're going to stop. Okay, we're going to put our stick blender over here. Okay, so we've got our pink, which is getting to be really a nice thick consistency. And we are going to, let me stir this one up real quick. Yep, that's perfect. All right, so we are going to be dropping my pink into here. All right, perfect. So let's start doing that. So we're going to, let me scoot it over here so you guys can see it better. All right, so we're going to start off low and just drop it here and there. And then we're going to get higher. So the higher up you are, the deeper it goes into the soap. Okay. I used to do all of this in my loaf pan, but I found out that this made a prettier thing. All right, so then I'm going to take, you wipe this off or just hold on to the back side of this with a paper towel. So I'm going to take my end of my smaller spatula and I'm just going to start just kind of pushing it down. And I can see on the sides of my bowl, back it up so you guys can see that I'm kind of like just kind of picking it up and pushing it down. See, over here we need more. I'll try and push some of this pink down to it. And then we're going to go back and forth and around the outside. And then we're going to go this way. And then around the outside again. Okay. So now we're going to get out our loaf pan. And this is the size loaf that I'm always using. This cuts perfect little soap bars. So then I'm going to start dumping this. It's got a little bit thicker than what I wanted it to, but it's okay because since we're doing this technique, it'll be just fine. I can already tell this is going to be really nicely swirled in here. This is going to be really pretty. And the smell is really good. This is a nice smell. Nice smell for Valentine's Day. All right, so now we're going to kind of smooth this out. Make sure we get it to the corners. It's going to be a really nice color. All right, so now we're going to, always important that you burp your soaps. That just means that you're bouncing it to work up any air bubbles that might be caught in it below. Now make sure you burp your soap. There we go. And I'm going to wipe off the edge here. Kind of keep your workspace clean. There we go. Now I'm going to take my little end again, and I'm going to just give it some swirl patterns. I have a couple of soaps that have this swirl pattern on the top, and it's actually very pretty. So I think that's what we're going to do this time. There. Very simple, but it's going to look really pretty. And then I didn't say, but I'm also going to be using the pink rose petals from Brambleberry. And I'm just going to be sprinkling some on the top. Just to give it a little bit of a pretty effect on the top. I don't like to use too much of this. It rinses off when you first use your soap, but it's pretty. If you give this as a gift, it's very feminine looking. Okay, I think that's all we need. I'm going to use this paper towel, and I'm going to kind of push everything back on, and then I always give it, like with the paper towel, just a little press down to make sure that most of these rose petals stick into the soap layer at the top. That way when we cut it, most of it is lasting and it's not falling off. All right. There we go. What do you guys think? I think it's very pretty and it smells so good. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to pop it in the freezer. It'll stay in the freezer for 24 hours. After 24 hours, I'll bring it out. I'll keep it on the counter in the mold for 2 more days. That way it can start to unthaw and acclimate to room temperature. After 2 days, I'll pop it out of the mold and we'll let it sit for 2 more days to cure and to get hardened even more before we cut it. So we'll be back in about 5 days and we'll cut this, and I'll do a video on us cutting it and what the final look was. And then that's it. It'll be curing for a total of 4 weeks at the minimum, and then it'll be ready to purchase in our farm stand in about 4 weeks for Valentine's Day. So that'll put us to about the end of January. So yeah, so if you're interested, you can also look at this on our Etsy store. Or if you live local, come on over to the farm store. We also have some other soaps that we have in stock right now that you can purchase now and while you're waiting for this one to cure. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Wow, that looks beautiful. Look at that. You see it good? Beautiful. It's nice. right.